Everybody. Welcome. Welcome, welcome. I am Tom Colentis, the very proud principal of this amazing high school. And if you don't believe me, well, hopefully you'll believe I'm Tom Colentis, but if you don't believe that this is an amazing high school, I believe that when you leave this room after our presentation today, you're gonna be a believer, because you're gonna learn about some pretty amazing students today and how they come to our school and make us a better place. So we students, you are in for a day where teachers or staff members are going to bring you up to the front, and they're going to share stories about why you are our student of the month. Okay, and you get to stand here and you get to look at everybody while they talk about you, and then we're going to take your picture. And that's going to feel awkward because you're going to be standing up here having to take your picture in front of everyone. So just embrace it and just go with the awkwardness, okay? But to just add to that, we're going to put your parents and your friends and your family members on the spot here, because in a few minutes they're going to hear all about why we as a school are proud of you, and all about why we as a school think you're an amazing kid. But what we want to do right now is hear from them. So at your table, I'm going to ask parents and family and loved ones, friends, to just share why you're proud of your student. Tell us a little bit about them and why you think they're an amazing kid. Okay? So we'll have that conversation at your table for a few minutes, and then we'll get started with our program.
Check, check.
Tell them what you did. What did we talk about? Why is it overall this thing?
All right, thank you for talking about that. I'm going to call you back to your focus. All right, if we could come back here to our I know many of you as parents could talk all day about this. All right. So, Student of the Month is the best day at Libertyville High School, because this is an award that students do not apply for. Okay, so I always tell my own kids, if there's ever an award that I would want you to win, it would be Student of the Month, because you don't apply for it. This is not something that your child raised his hand or her hand and said, I want to be Student of the Month. It's something they had to earn. And if you think about a school, it's really wonderful that Libertyville High School celebrates this, because all schools celebrate students for having good grades. and having academics and being the valedictorian and the salutatorian. And pretty much every high school celebrates students for athletic achievements or for fine arts achievements. Those things are very important, and we want to celebrate students who have those skills. But what this program is our school celebrating students who may be good grades, maybe not such great grades. They might be great athletes or great artists, maybe not such great artists and great athletes. But what they are great human beings. They are great kids. And they come to this school every single day, and they model the things in life that we believe matter the most: character and grit and perseverance and resilience and heart and spirit. Those are the things that I think for most of us as parents, yeah, we all want our kids to be special academically and with great athletic, and we want them to be able to pursue their dreams. But I bet a lot of us would say the most important thing is our kids' character and their heart and who they are. And so your child that's here today was recognized by a staff member for being that great kid. And we're going to hear a little bit today about why that is. So I'm very proud of you students for this, and I'm looking forward to sharing this next hour with you to hear and learn a little bit more about you. Okay, so our first student that we're going to talk about today, I'm going to bring up the awesome Mrs. Goris from math to talk about Mark Adrian Bakirin. Come on up.
Well, that was a pretty good introduction in terms of what Student of the Month is, and I think that Dr. K really summarized it quite well. So this is Adrian, and he is part of my third period Algebra 2 class. Go math, right? So it was easy to nominate Adrian for Student of the Month. I knew, back at the beginning of the year that November I would get to pick somebody, and I already kind of had this young individual chosen early on. He was a pleasure to have in class since that first day. He serves wholeheartedly, and he leads by example with really everything that he does in his words and in his actions. He has a positive attitude and a smile on his face and makes the whole entire class environment better. And lucky for him, he doesn't just see me in the classroom, but he also works at the grocery store that I frequent. So I also get to see him when I'm, running over for a gallon of milk. And he still has that same genuine character that he has in the classroom, and it shines through outside when he's at work as well. His character is one of really the most noteworthy things that put him as Student of the Month. He's always engaged and present in class. He has those characteristics of being neat, smart, organized, on task, focused, hardworking, detailed. In fact, just today as I was walking around the classroom, checking work, answering questions, I had in my mind what the answer should be, and I noticed that I got one wrong because mine didn't match with what he had. So I don't know that I told him that, but I quickly changed mine and went on my merry way. So Adrian really does an amazing job in class. One other thing that I love is the way that he participates in class. He's always willing to answer, and he's always enthusiastic when I answer a question, especially if it's one of those higher level, good critical thinking questions. And overall, just a great student. But what's really the most noteworthy and impressive of all is Adrian just moved to the United States a couple years ago. So having all of these accomplishments and being able to have the success that he does and the drive and the attitude while just learning, he told me just a very little English 2 years ago to be where he is now, I think is absolutely incredible. And putting myself in those shoes, I don't know that I would be able to do that same thing with such success. He's friendly, he's kind, and he is a true Wildcat. I'm very proud of him. He's a ton of fun to have in class. He goes above and beyond, and I believe is hands down what Student of the Month represents.
Right. Now, I forgot to mention, in addition to all of this recognition, you get a special gift for being our Student of the Month, and we're really appreciative. A great school, any great school needs great community partners, and we're really fortunate in Libertyville because Mr. Jack Greasy is here. He owns the Domino's Pizza in Libertyville, and they, every single month, Mr. Jack, every month donates prizes in the form of pizza for our Student of the Month winner. You've been doing this for several years, correct? And it's because he, as a business owner in this community, understands how important our high school is and understands how valuable our precious resources of our students are. And he wants to do his part to show support for our families and our school. So thank you very much, Mr. Greasy. And students, you get to decide if you're going to share your pizza with your teacher or not. That's up to you. All right, so our next student we are going to bring up, I'm going to bring up the amazing Ms. Powell, and she is going to talk about Hailey Bassina.
Hi, my name is Shara Powell, and I teach English. And Hailey is in my very exuberant 8th period class, 28 kids strong. So she is the model of, I wrote in her summary here, the model of quiet determination, because no matter what is going on, or no matter who it is that I might have to get back in line and get back on task, it's never her. She just keeps it moving at all times forward, and make sure that she's doing all of her work. She turns everything in. I just never have to worry about those things with her at all. Additionally, I work a lot of volleyball games, and so I got to see that same attitude she brings to 8th hour follows her onto into her extracurriculars. No matter what the team was doing, she always seemed to have it together. She had a plan. She was working with her team. She was encouraging of all her other teammates. So this is just her, consistently wonderful all the time. I promised I wasn't going to embarrass her too much, so I'll try not to do that. I love all of my students. I know some of them may not be sure, but I do love all of my students. But she is the example of the student that you always want to have. You always want to have that one student that's kind of like the rock of the class, and I think that would be Hailey. So I'm very honored to be her teacher, and it's only a sophomore class, and I usually teach seniors, so hopefully, fingers crossed, I'll get her again senior year. Thank you very much.
I could relate to that, Ms. Powell, in that you always, as a teacher, want that student who's that rock, who you know, no matter what's happening in a class, you've got them to depend on. So thank you, Hailey, for being that rock for Ms. Powell. It's awesome. Our next student, I like to jump around just to keep you all guessing, so nobody goes to sleep back there. You never know when your name's going to be called. We are going to bring up the super awesome Mr. Ori to talk about Lydia Crowe. Nice shirt, by the way, Mr. Ori. I like that. It looks good.
The one that texted me this morning to put it on.
Yeah.
All right, Mr. Colentis, Dr. Colentis just said, I'm Mr. Ori. I teach 5th period PE for Lydia Crowe over here. I'm actually a part-time teacher, but this semester I was asked to take over maternity leave for Miss Joyce Amon, and thank God I did because I got to meet such a fine and outstanding student. So, Lydia's a great leader inside and outside of class. She is always kind to her classmates and is quick to lend a helping hand when needed. She is a type of student who always encourages her classmates, motivates them, and helps bring out the best in them. It is clear that Lydia enjoys physical education, unlike most of the students we have. Just kidding. And is not afraid to try new things, explore, and take risks. What is most special about Lydia is her heart and willingness to learn. This is evident in class on a daily basis. In class, Lydia is very respectful and always helps clean up and put away equipment. I guarantee that if you asked other teachers, coaches, and her classmates, that they would say the same about her. At LHS, Lydia is on the girls' varsity basketball team. Outside of school, she plays club basketball in the spring and summer summer, and fall for all-in athletics. What makes Lydia so special is how humble she is. One day in our PE class, I altered a basketball game in which I changed the scoring a little bit, changed the rules, and added in an extra basket. Lydia made things very difficult for me because she completely dominated the game. I told her that she can no longer shoot with her dominant hand, and she kind of looked at me and shrugged her shoulders and was like, okay. She continued to dominate the game. To further challenge Lydia's skills, I combined 2 teams against her 1, and she continued to dominate the game, and she won. Also, just kind of want to add that last night, I know she's a little humble, doesn't like to talk about it, but Lydia's girls varsity basketball team last night defeated Buffalo Grove 53-41. Perhaps Buffalo Grove should have tried altering the rules a little bit and made her use her non-dominant hand, because she went off and had 7 3-pointers and 23 points. So congrats. One of Lydia's favorite hobbies is photography. She takes digital photo, which she's currently missing right now, so I apologize. She loves to take pictures with her own camera of nature, especially during the springtime. I asked Lydia what was an interesting fact about her, and without hesitation, she said that she's the only redhead in her family. So without saying too much more about her, I just want to congratulate her on Student of the Month. You're doing a great job, and it's a pleasure having you in the class.
Switch it up on it there. You gonna be all right? Yeah, I got a curveball. I know, right? All right, congratulations, Lydia. I'll check in with your mom later to see if you clean up at home the way you clean up here at school. So, and I do have to say, I'm fairly confident about this, Lydia. I believe what has never been said about me is that he dominates the basketball game. I don't think those words have ever been spoken about me. So, congrats. All right, our next student, we are going to bring up the extraordinarily talented and musical Dr. Brown from Fine Arts to talk about Matthew Pavlik. Pavlik or Pavlik?
This is Matthew, everybody. I've only had Matthew in choir for the first part of this year as a sophomore. Last year, he was in band. And I thought when he signed up for choir sophomore year that he had stopped taking band, but that's not true. He continued taking band. I had the privilege of getting to know Matthew in our fall musical last year as a freshman. We usually don't have that many freshmen that get in. I mean, it's a hard thing to get into. We usually have several, 2 or 3. Matthew is one of those that was selected to be in the musical. And so after getting to know him a little bit, I thought, oh my gosh, this kid's in band. He plays an instrument. He's in the musical. I wonder if I could ever get him in choir too. And sophomore year, I got lucky, and here he was sitting in my classroom. What I have come to know about him is some of the same things that some of my colleagues have already shared about the other students. He is the kind of student that we all wish that every kid was like. The one thing that Mom and Dad shared with me is that they said he's the nicest person that they know. Their own child is the nicest person that they know. And I completely agree. He's one of the nicest children that I've had the privilege of having in my classroom. Not only is he hardworking and mature and attentive and ready to do anything that you ask him to do, He's so nice. You were so nice, Matthew. Not only was he in the fall musical last year, but he's also in our recent musical, The King and I, and he had many responsibilities. One of which was being in the ballet, and he would say that he's not a dancer, but there's a lot of talent there. I think it needs to be worked out. He had so many responsibilities, like dance responsibilities. He just jumped in. He worked hard. He did a great job. He really did. We are so fortunate to have this young man in our fine arts department. I hope that you'll continue singing with me because we have choirs for all grade levels. I get the privilege of getting to watch, if they choose to continue singing throughout their high school career, I get the privilege to watch them sort of grow and mature throughout their time here, and that's a blessing. So I hope that he will continue to sing, be in band as well. But we're really, really thankful that Matthew is in our program. He's a great guy. We're happy to nominate you for Student of the Month this month. Yeah, Matthew.
I spent time with Dr. Brown in the choir last week, and he wasn't asking me to keep coming back the way he's asking you to come back. So I'm not sure what that says about my singing ability. So great job. Next, we have, there he is, the awesome Mr. Mansell to come up and talk about Jake Hughes.
I was always told to tie things into other speakers, so I also will admit I've never been accused of dominating a basketball game either. I'm going to buy the script here in a second because it's easier for me, because otherwise I go on tangents. I just wanted to make sure that everybody understands that what the other teachers have been saying, what the ones that are going to come after me are going to say, is really acknowledging the fact that we have students that have excelled. I've been very fortunate to work with Jake for over 2 years now. And I have really enjoyed it because I get to see somebody who came in one way and has reached a whole nother plateau. And it's just been phenomenal and my pleasure to work with. So if I can read this then. It's my privilege to nominate Jake Hughes as Student of the Month. Although this award refers to a period of 1 month, Jake has worked to earn this award over the past 8 months. During that time, Jake has went from being an overwhelmed freshman to being able to take on the demands of Libertyville High School. He has learned how to advocate for himself by regularly seeking out his teachers when he's struggling with assignments. This has led directly to him raising his GPA to over 3.83. Beyond his academic success, Jake has become a respectful, dependable young man that teachers enjoy having in their classroom. Jake's improved effort in his classes has already earned him awards from other departments. As a member of the diving team, he has learned how to, as a member of the diving team, he has learned how to become a valuable member and has used his great sense of humor to become well-liked by his peers. I commend Jake for all of the work that he has put into becoming an outstanding student at Libertyville and for becoming the type of young man that the faculty of Libertyville High School are proud of. So I'm very glad to nominate you, Jake, for Student of the Month.
I had the pleasure of seeing Jake in his digital music class, and he is super talented as a composer with using the computer and using a combination of instruments and the computer to design it. And you have like, the song was like a 7.5-minute song, right? And we got to listen to only about half of it, but it was pretty awesome. So great job. And I love, Mr. Manzel, what you talk about is that at Libertyville High School, what this award's about is not necessarily somebody who does everything easy and starts off at the top. It's about how you work so hard each week, each day to get better and better. So great job, Jake. All right, let's bring up the incredible Mr. Duffy, who is going to talk about Josh Stair.
If I had ever played basketball, I would have dominated. You know, the half-inch vertical leap is one of the things that complicates that a little bit, but I think I could have had a chance. Oh, well. Well, I'm standing next to Mr. Stair here, who does dominate on the basketball court, but that's not why he's up here. I want to echo some of the thoughts from my colleagues, and again, this is something you're going to hear again and again. The incredible students that we have to work with day to day, year to year, are wonderful human beings. They're a credit to their parents. They're a credit to everybody they come in contact with, because they are thoughtful and caring and really become like an inspiration to us as teachers. And Josh really fits that in spades. He's thoughtful. He's on the principal's council, which is an advisory role that students have for the building. He's an intelligent young man. He didn't know this, but he got 100% on my last test, which is good work. He's insightful in class. He's unfailingly polite. He's accomplished in and out of the classroom. Athletics, sure, but quite frankly, that's not, you know, the athletics thing is important as something for kids to enjoy and to pursue, and it gives a fullness to their high school activities, but they're here for an education. And one of the things that I find important about education is to inspire. And you know, we as teachers try to inspire our students to better understand the subjects that we teach. I teach history and government and law, and it's not often that I get inspired by a student. And Josh is up here because he inspired me early in the semester. I had an activity which was a family, building out your family tree. And usually kids are, you know, I'm teaching a world history class. I'm trying to show them that, hey, history isn't just something that happens to people dead and long ago. You have a history. You have a family that's come from anywhere around the world. And so they delve into that a little bit. And we were in class, and I was going around talking to the different groups, and Josh was like, hey, Mr. Duffy, check this out. And he shows me that he had gotten his ancestry, ancestry.com, and got his whole family tree, did the spit in the thing and get your genetic testing. It was so cool. I have been talking about doing this for 7-8 years. And I never got around to doing it. There's always some other reason to do it. There's always something else to do. And I was like, man, Josh, if you're willing to do this to find out more about who you are, and it wasn't for the class or anything, it was just something that was important to Josh. And so I'm like, so I got and ordered the kit. You sent me the email and referred me to get the kit, did my spit thing, and I sent it in, and I got my results. And it's really cool to find a student that can inspire me to get up off my duff and do something that I've been meaning to do, and it helps me learn a little bit more about myself. And you don't find that very often. I really appreciate that. And for all of the other myriad reasons that you mean so much to this community here at Libertyville High School, I wanted to nominate you and say thank you. So, thank you.
You know what's crazy is that Mr. Duffy found out that he and I are related. So I don't, that's just a whole nother added level of.
It's the devastating good looks.
Yes.
That really was kind of one of the tips.
Yes, and just the athletic prowess and the unyielding wit. All right. We have the super awesome Miss Bachar to talk about Aaron Custad.
So I'm Mrs. Bocker, and this is Erin. She's in my 7th period chemistry class, and one of the things that I just love every day when Erin comes into our class is the energy and her smile that she brings every single day, all 50 minutes of that period. Chemistry can be really difficult for people, and there's a lot of stuff that we cover in there that is really hard for students to understand, visualize, conceptualize, and she does a fantastic job of maintaining a positive attitude the entire time she's in there. And one of the things that I've really noticed is her positive attitude and positive mentality just spreads to everyone in the classroom. And her easygoing, go with the flow mentality and just personality really has molded her as an awesome leader in our class. I can count on Erin to help pretty much anyone in the class, and she does so with ease, and she doesn't just give them the answer, which is something that I think is really unique about Erin and hard for teachers to find that person who really values the learning process of others in their class. Dr. K actually came into our class for his residency, and he ended up sitting next to Erin, and by the end of the class, I think you got covalent bonds pretty well. And a lot of it was all due to Erin. Erin was able to walk him through it, explain it. She had no problem telling him things that she still wasn't completely set on and knew the answers to. And I think that's one thing that really speaks a lot about her personality and just her as a person too, is she knows her limits. So she knows the things she knows, and she is really good at walking through a problem and saying, I get this, but this is a part that I'm a little bit confused about. And I wanted to try and take this awesome personality, this awesome leadership, and mold it into something new with our class. So there was one day I asked Erin if she wouldn't mind running a demo for our entire chemistry class. And she was a little nervous at first because that meant she had to come up in front of her peers. She had to walk through a chemistry demo. She had to look at my PowerPoint slides to help her figure out the chemical concepts behind it. And then she had to run it and execute it. And we had planned to meet, I think it was a Friday after school, and that was the first time in 7 years I actually went home sick in the middle of the school day. And I get an email 7th period. Hey, Mrs. Bocker, I see that you're not in school, but I really, really, really want to learn this demo, and I really want to teach the rest of the students this demo. Can we reschedule? And it was awesome to see her engagement and her excitement about her own learning, as well as learning of other students. So we definitely rescheduled. She came in, she rocked the mini lesson with her students, and you could just see that light bulb and that glow while she was facilitating this lesson to the other students. And I think that speaks loads about where Erin is going to go in her future. As I was talking with Mom and Dad, and they were sharing kind of their takes of things that are really awesome about Erin, is some things they highlighted were the fact that she is very goal-oriented. She has a goal, and she is set, and that is true. I see that every day in chemistry. She does not give up until she reaches her goal, and when she hits roadblocks, she doesn't give up, which is awesome. She finds ways to get around them, and I think that is going to be a fantastic skill that is going to lead her through life, and I'm really excited to see where she goes the rest of her LHS career and beyond LHS, and that's why I nominated Erin as Student of the Month for Chem.
It is good that Erin knows how to navigate roadblocks, because when I became her lab partner, that was a big roadblock. Because at first I think you thought I was asking you questions like he knows the answer, he's just seeing if I know the answer, right? And then you're like, oh, he really doesn't know the answer. So that was, you had to do some heavy lifting, but I did learn. So you are a natural teacher. All right, next is Miss Ulix. You are going to speak on behalf of Mr. Gerlach, correct? Because he had to go home. But we're going to bring up Josiah Mayo.
Hi, Josiah. How are you? Good. Okay, so a couple days ago, Mr. Gerlach and I were talking, and I said, so who did you nominate for Student of the Month? And he said, Josiah. And I'm like, I don't know Josiah. Tell me a little bit about him and why you selected him as Student of the Month. And he was talking to me, it's I think the 8th period or 7th period? 8th period, right? And 8th period, he's like, it's a crazy class. They're energetic, they're loud, and they're talkative, but I have this student, his name is Josiah. And he is so respectful, and he does whatever I ask of him, and he's focused, and he works hard, and he was hugely complimentary of the things that you do in his class. So he wanted me to share with all of you today that he is so appreciative of what you've done in his class. And I'll just read what he shared in this little booklet, and you'll all get a keepsake of what the teachers shared today, just so that you know. They're in their little goodie bags. So I'll read what Mr. Gerlach said about you, okay? Josiah is in my Graphic Communications 1 class at the end of the school day. He's in a class that can be very loud and energetic, which I really enjoy most days. Most days. Josiah is a very quiet, studious young man who just typically takes it all in and seems to enjoy being part of the class. Josiah, probably without even knowing it, has been a huge help for me. He has been helping a student that joined the class late to catch up on a lot of different tasks. Josiah has continued to strive to become better at the software that we use in class and always does extra for just about every assignment. He has been a pleasure to have in class, and I cannot wait to see what he produces for his end-of-the-year semester projects. Congratulations.
Come on over on this. Yep, keep you guessing.
Gage, here's one spot, please.
Good.
Just checking if one of the ice book falls, that's it.
That is a really cool class, Graphic Communications. You guys do some awesome work with T-shirts and graphic design. So nice work, and I look forward to seeing what you produce at the end of the year. Our final student of the day that we're going to discuss is with Miss Silverberg and the awesome Miss Grossman and awesome Miss Silverberg, but I didn't see Miss Silverberg is here. You snuck in. There you go. All right. So not only the awesome Miss Silverberg, but sneaky as well, to talk about Jason Collazo. Come on down. Oh, and the incredible Mr. Loika, also part of the team.
Up front. Okay. We're getting close, so we'll be brief. Although to keep the basketball thing going, I'm a 6'5" guy who's not very good at basketball, so that's a real travesty. I don't like to get touched in the paint. So, but on behalf of our team in the 8th Rep LST and Ms. Grossman and Flex program, we're honored to share with you all Jason Collazo as our Student of the Month. And Dr. Colentis was talking about some of the things that emulate what you all have certainly shown to your teachers. Grit, resiliency, overcoming obstacles, and dealing with adversity. This is stuff that Jason has done very quietly. I think if you asked his teachers, they would say he's shy, quiet, reserved. I translate those things into things like creative, thoughtful, deliberate, genuine. These are the skills that I think, as he's getting more comfortable as a Wildcat, having only been here for a semester and a half, that we will see him continue to grow in, which is why we nominated him. He's a sophomore, transferred to us midway through freshman year, and things were tough. He was dealing with a lot of different things at that time, and coming to a really rigorous curriculum here was not very easy for him. And what he's done over the last couple of months academically has blown us all away. But I think, as Ms. Grossman will talk about, when you get to know Jason, you get to see just a flash of that really genuine smile. It's coming from somewhere that's really pure and really, really good. And so he's got such an amazing creative side to him. I think you all are going to get to know him very well very soon. So I'll turn it over to Ms. Grossman.
So I feel very lucky to have been able to work with Jason since he started at LHS last year, mid-February, I think. Jason's our student of the month because of the growth and success we've seen him make since February of last year. He's been very accepting of the support offered to him, and he's really grabbed onto these skills and strategies to be independent and not just successful in school, but long-term successful in life. Jason is artistic in his drawing and writing ability, and he has a passion for music. He takes his writing ability and he uses it with that passion, turns it into music and producing music, and that's been a great outlet for him, and he has a goal this year to be a part of Writers Week, so that we're looking forward to see. And that would be another success because Jason is kind of shy, and to see him get on stage would be really awesome. Teachers in the building who've worked with Jason have said the same thing. He's smart, is creative and artistic, and has tons of potential. I'd also add that he's passionate and loyal and kind. He's always been so polite since day one. So we're super excited and anxious to see his continued improvements and achievements here, and we're thrilled that you've transferred to LHS. And the one last thing I want to say too is just a reminder that hard work and effort lead to great success and positive changes in life, and to keep up the hard work.
Talking and embarrass you even more.
Oh.
It's because of the voice.
All right, so if there were any doubters out there, do you believe me now, right? Is this not the greatest school and filled with just some of the greatest students? So families, thank you so much for coming out today. Just like we have great community partners, having great parents, all of us working together are what we contribute to making this place the place that it is. And students, we also know that for as wonderful as you are right now, this is just the beginning. So there's so many more levels to who you are and to where you can go. And some of your biggest fans are in this room, and we're going to be cheering you all along the way.